Hey everybody, Ryan here with Ray's latest, and I hope you guys all had a fantastic Christmas and got to spend some great time with your families or happy holidays to those that celebrate other holidays. I had a great Christmas. I got everything that I could have imagined. Got to spend some great time with some families, hang out with my pups. It was great. I enjoyed every second of it. Got some trading cards. It's really all I want these days. There's nothing I really ask for anymore. So I just got some couple packs of Bowman Mega Box Chrome. Pulled a pulled an auto out of there. It's pretty nice, pretty nice. Kind of I was happy with it, but so that whole hobby has just gotten way too expensive these days. But hope you guys have had a great Christmas and are going to have a great New Year's this next week. But there was some things that we have missed while we were gone celebrating Christmas. And Pete Fairbanks has signed with the Miami Marlins on a 1 year, $13 million deal, which is it's great for him. He got $2 more million. He gets to stay in Florida, so the taxes and everything's the same. He's out of the division and out of the league, so he's in the NL now instead of the AL. We only play the Marlins, I think 4 games a year, maybe three. So kind of him not signing with a division team is really good for us in my opinion. He could have easily signed with the Yankees or the Blue Jays or somebody like that and faced us 20 times a year and just shoved it against us every single time. And I think him going to Miami is probably one of the best possible scenarios for us. And he got $2 more million. So great scenario for him. So I'm really happy to see that. I think he deserves it. The 1 year contract is interesting, though. So I feel like that might be the Marlins kind of pushing to not want to spend as much money long term on a reliever, which I completely understand. And I think he's going to be. They've always been searching for that big arm out of the back end of their pen, and I just think they had never really gotten it over the past couple years. They've had some decent starters in like Sandy Alcantara and guys like that. They kind of showed promise, and then kind of just never really kind of figured it out long term for the Marlins. So I think them being able to get a back end arm. I remember we gave them Ryan Stanek a couple years ago as well, who was kind of fixed into that back end bridge guy, maybe sometimes close. So I'm happy for him in and up in Miami. It's a great spot for him. He gets to stay in Florida, as close to Tampa if he had any extended family around there or immediate family there. So it's great for him. Happy for him. Gets to stay in Florida. The next thing I do want to talk about though is possible kind of JT Realmuto as a possible signing with the Rays. And I think 2 years ago, if somebody were to say this, you'd be like, what are you talking about? There's no way we could afford JT Realmuto. But he's 34 now, and he's slowly regressed. Last year he hit 257, only hit 12 homers. He wasn't an all-star, but he's still a decent contributor behind the plate, defensively and with the bat. And I think just for the Rays, 257 behind the plate is miles better than anything that we have currently and what we have had. So I think that kind of possibly maybe going down a JT Realmuto route instead of maybe a big signing at second, kind of, or a big trade at second, kind of transition over to a big signing behind the plate. And I think that you could realistically, I think his past contract was 5 years, 115 million. So he's not going to get anywhere near that now. And I think that kind of a couple of years ago, you would think an extension for him is anywhere between 25 to $30 million a year. But he has regressed every single year. And now that he's 34, especially playing catcher, that takes a toll on your body. And I think that it's just him kind of just aging. And not saying that 34 is necessarily old, but for a catcher, it's not young. Like you could play first base at 34 and be elite, but playing behind the plate at 34, it does take a toll on your body and it does take a toll long term. So I think that kind of you could realistically get him for around 13 to 15 million dollars, and I think a short term contract would be ideal, 1 to 2 years, and kind of see how he does. I think ideally a 2 year $30 million. I think that could get that done, in my opinion. I really do. And I do think that him being kind of regressing and him being at the older age at 34 behind the plate, I do kind of think that we have a realistic shot. And I think and the Phillies just signed a catcher because they've kind of been slowly transitioning away from him over these past couple weeks and have kind of been getting into that mode of Real Muto's not going to be back. So I think from that perspective, I think he might look elsewhere for more money, and I think he should do that, obviously. But I think if he comes into our hands to where it could be a possibility, I do think 2 years, 30 million, so 15 million annual value could get that done, in my opinion. So I think that kind of an upgrade at catcher would be ideal. Because, I mean, I haven't heard anything anywhere about Ketel Marte rumors or anything like that. And I know the recent addition of all these prospects that we've gotten. We got 6 prospects in the last couple weeks. And I think everybody kind of just thought, oh, we're loading up to go get them. We're loading up to go get Marte. And I don't necessarily think that that kind of probably was maybe part of the plan. And I think that Neander's kind of made it pretty obvious that we're not really entering a full rebuild mode. And I don't think you really can enter rebuild mode with the pieces that you have on the roster now. So I think it's one of those things where this roster is good enough to win. And I think that I truly do think that it might be one piece away from truly contending. And I do think Ketel Marte would be a great piece. And I think that everybody else would agree. Hell, even Brendan Donovan would be a great addition at second base. But I do think if those kind of fall through, I think a transition to behind the plate could be in order. And I think Palacios, I think that you could realistically get him to be a 230 hitter and play better defense than Brandon Lau did. And I think that's a decent transition over from Lau for $12 million less. So I think it's one of those things where maybe transition away from second base and kind of start leaning closer to behind the plate and make that your offseason splash and kind of build from there. And maybe even transition Carson Williams over to be able to play second base occasionally, or you're never going to take Walls off short, but if you wanted to play both of them, you're going to have to figure out something to do. And I just don't think that moving Taylor Walls and having Taylor Walls play second over Carson Williams is ever going to happen. If they're going to play at the same exact time, they're going to play Taylor Walls at shortstop because he is a platinum. He will win a platinum glove. Mark my words. In his major league playing days, he will win it. So I think that's just something we kind of maybe have to look forward to or kind of look towards is possibly transitioning behind the plate as the signing. So you guys let me know what you guys think about possible JT Realmuto signings and kind of what you can see second base situation looking like. I hope you guys had a great Christmas, happy holidays, and have an amazing New Year's. You guys have a great one.